Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shetler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Keokuk County Veterans Affairs recognizes Saturday, March 29th as Vietnam War Veterans Day. We remember those who served. Keokuk County Veterans Affairs will be here when you need us. Find them on the ground floor of the Keokuk County Courthouse. Call 641-622-2761 or email Michelle Herman. Regular office hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday 8 to 2, Wednesdays 8 to noon and 1 to 3, and Friday from 8 to noon. We remember those who served in the Vietnam War on Saturday, March 29th. Bras for a Cause 2025 is Saturday, April 12th at the Carl Craft Civic Center in Hedrick. Dinner is provided by Bubba-Q's at 4:30. There's a free will donation, plus a silent auction from 4:30 to 9 p.m. And of course, the live bra auction starts at 6 p.m., modeling by the Hedrick Volunteer Firemen. All proceeds to benefit our local communities. For more information about Bras for a Cause 2025, contact Lori Hornback at 641-777-4252. Welcome in. It is time for another thrilling edition of Real Talk here on Steve Shetler Media, brought to us by New Life Community Church in Wellman, where Pastor Aaron Fleming is the pastor.
Hey,
You're the pastor.
Well, Brother Steve, it's good to be with you again.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah, and thank you for introducing this as a thrilling episode of Real Talk, because now I feel
exciting.
no pressure.
Thrill us, Aaron.
Oh boy. I could sing Waymaker and you could play along with the rubber chicken. Still getting used to this new studio here.
Yes, we are in the Oski Dental Studios, high above Sigourney, above Barn Wired on the south side of the square.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to look at the camera or look at you.
So we got this giant TV off to our side, which is to my right and to your left. And it's a little bit distracting because you're seeing what I'm seeing on my computer. It's kind of like Brady Bunch, too. Like, hi, Aaron. Here, high five.
Let's try that again, see if we can coordinate that. All right, that's what counts as thrilling in Sigourney, Iowa, I guess. Well, there's not a lot of excitement in the basketball or football worlds these days, so. Oh man, I think by the time this airs, even the state high school basketball tournament will probably be over by then. Do we have any local teams that are still alive?
None in the boys side of things. Is nothing happening.
Okay, yeah, up at I think Mid Prairie went down to a top 10 team in overtime, I think, and Hillcrest had a barn burner in the district championship, and but nobody moved on to state this year. But we've always got good basketball in this region between Mid Prairie and Hillcrest, and Keota often has some good teams. And
North Mahaska, which of course we covered here on Steve Shetler Media. Boys they were a game. I mean, they lost the game to go to state, so they were very close.
Okay, very close. Yeah, so. Basketball's over. Football's a long ways away.
It's kind of a dead zone right now.
It really is.
Unless you like baseball coming up.
Sorry to all of our baseball fan friends. My brother is a lifelong baseball fan. He just loves baseball. And I liked baseball when I was a kid. I used to listen to the White Sox on the radio. Were you ever a major league fan? Or
for the longest time, I loved the Atlanta Braves. It was when they were a total garbage team in the 80s, but then the 90s rolled around and they became very dominant. So I was in that phase where they were horrible. They were on cable station WTBS. I could either, when we got cable in Sigourney, I could either watch the Cubs and Harry Carey or the Braves and Skip Carey. And I couldn't take Harry Carey, so I was a Braves fan even through the rotten years. And then they got good and had a lot of wins in the 90s.
Yeah, you were rewarded for your faithfulness
Yes.
with a couple of World Series wins.
It might have just been one. I mean, that's the thing. The Braves were so dominant through that stretch, and they were at so many World Series, but I think they only got the one.
Okay, I kind of think that's right too. But so you got in on a lot of winning, and
Yes.
I was a White Sox fan, and that was mostly just pain.
Yeah.
Mostly just pain and heartache, and but I used to they used to be on AM 670, and I could pick up AM 670 at my house up near Wellman, and I would stay up and listen to the West Coast games. Like I'd be up till 2:00 in the morning when they were out playing the A's, and so those are some good times. But then about the mid 90s, they switched to a radio station that you couldn't even get halfway across the state of Illinois, and I just totally lost track. So have not been a baseball fan since then. So we have worked all of our sports out of our system for now, I think, and there just wasn't any good news. So I think let's focus on good news. Hey, I'm starting a sermon series up at New Life in Wellman on the Gospel of Matthew. And when we hear the word gospel now, we automatically think about the Bible and those four biographies of Jesus that are called Gospels. We got the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of John. And I've been listening to some. It's called the Bema podcast. That's BEMA. Anytime I try to search for that on my cell phone using my voice activation, I say Bema podcast, and then I get a whole bunch of listings for podcasts about Alabama football. Bama, not Bama. But Bama podcast, I highly recommend that. They do super deep dives into the historical and cultural and geographical background of all those good old Bible stories, stuff that you don't think about. Just kind of one. There's a psalm, I think it's Psalm 1 that says a righteous man is like a tree planted by a stream of water that always bears fruit in season. And you know, we live here in Iowa, the most fertile place in the world. And so when we think of a tree planted by water, like we're all thinking apple tree, right? And your apple tree is going to bear a zillion apples every single year, pretty much, because there's always rain. But it turns out like we're talking about a land where it might not rain, but every 10 years. And so you might go a long time wondering, is this tree gonna, like, is it actually even still alive? And then it rains and the stream starts flowing again, and by golly, that tree bears fruit. And so that just kind of puts a different perspective on some of those scriptures, just to know some of that geographical background and what the weather is like over there in the Holy Land and stuff like that. So Bema podcast, check it out. But they're talking about the gospel and what gospel actually means. It comes from a Greek word, euangelion, and that means good message. But the gospel of Jesus, it turns out, was not actually the first gospel. Oh, whoa, is this some sort of heresy or something? No, there were several emperors. Excuse me while I scratch my eye here for a moment. Sing a song while I scratch my eye.
La, 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 la.
All right, excellent.
The old eye scratching
Yeah.
segment.
That would be okay on radio, but we got the camera here and everybody can see me like. Lost my focus. Let's come back. Gospel. Good news. Originally, guys like Alexander the Great would publish a gospel. And what that was all about was like, he'd go around conquering other countries and they'd be like, man, that stinks. We got conquered. But then Alexander would publish a gospel, and it would be about how, just how lucky you are that I conquered you. And here's all the improvements that I'm going to bring to your society. And since he was Greek, he was like, we're going to build theaters, and you're going to have entertainment, and we're going to build schools, and you're going to have education, and we're going to build sewer systems and aqueducts, and then you're going to have water, and your sewage is going to get carried away. And, you're going to pay some taxes, but it's all good because, aren't you just so glad that you're now in the empire of Alexander the Great? Like, not Alexander the Average, Alexander the Great. So Alexander would do that, and then I think Caesar Augustus had a gospel, to let everybody know just how really lucky they were that he was in charge. It kind of makes me think of our American, what do they call them? The oh man, we just had one. I don't listen to him anymore. When the president gives the speech, the State of the Union address. Do you ever listen to those?
I missed this one because I had a basketball game, but yeah, I know.
I haven't listened to one for years and years and years because I think it doesn't matter who's in office. I'm kind of cynical about the State of the Union. It's just all this, I'm really awesome, and look at all the great things that I've done, and here's all the things that I'm going to do. And you just kind of know that it's probably not going to be that great.
It's a bunch of political theatrics, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
And they bring out all these people and look at this child, or look at, hear this sob story about this person, or,
I really honestly am not saying anything about the current holder of the office. I'm saying I just can't stand the State of the Union address. Political theatrics. That's a great term. So we're still I get it. The politician wants to be reelected, right? He wants to get people fired up about his agenda, and that goes for whoever's in the office. So I'm not trying to dog out America or something, but it's kind of a gospel presentation. Like, here's the good news about why you should be happy that I'm the president. So when Mark wrote his gospel, and Mark starts off with it because Mark is the shortest gospel, and he's just straight and to the point about everything. First verse, the beginning of the gospel, that's the beginning of the euangelion, or the beginning of the good news, the good message about Jesus Christ, the Son of God. So any Roman person who was familiar with Caesar Augustus would have read or heard those words and thought, oh, something intriguing is going on here. Here's someone claiming to have good news of the same sort as Caesar might publish. So then Matthew doesn't start off with those words, but up in chapter 4, when Jesus starts his ministry, we read that Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the good news, or the gospel, or the euangelion, preaching the good news of the kingdom. Which kingdom? That's something that those ancient readers, if you weren't familiar with the story, those readers would have been thinking, which kingdom are you talking? And we can think about that today. The gospel of the kingdom. Which kingdom? The kingdom of America, or the kingdom of Russia, or the kingdom of France, or what? And of course, Jesus is talking about the kingdom of God. And we're going to find out as we go along here that this gospel is going to be somewhat different. It's going to be a lot lower on the political theatrics and a lot higher on, Jesus went around preaching the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness among the people. So maybe kind of like that Greek hospital system that they were setting up, the healthcare system, but something supernatural is going on here. And we're getting a signal about that right away at the beginning of of the gospel of Jesus. Something supernatural is going on. Something, some new king is moving into the neighborhood, and instead of coming riding in a chariot with an army behind him to stomp on everybody and make them pay taxes, this is a king who's showing up, and the first sign of the benefit of his kingdom is that he's just going to start healing people that come to him with sicknesses, with diseases, paralytic people who are demon possessed. And that's something else, because no other king had ever come along with the power and the authority to cast out demons. So as we continue to dig into the Gospel of Matthew, we'll just keep that at the front of our mind. This is a good news about a different king and a different kind of kingdom, and it's going to be different. It's going to be different from Alexander's Greek culture kingdom, and it's going to be different from Rome's military engineering kingdom. So what kind of kingdom is it going to be? I don't know. Maybe you'll have to read it for yourself. A little teaser there.
Yes.
No spoilers today. So, I don't know. Any final thoughts here before we go, Steve?
I'm drawing a blank.
Drawing a blank. All right. Well, that's cool. I think we're probably at a good stopping point here.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll just remind everybody you can visit us for now. We're still meeting at the Parkside Activity Center in Wellman on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. We've got some other activities throughout the week, some men's and women's Bible studies, and some stuff like that to help you stay connected to friends and to God during the week. You can check us out on Facebook as well. We live stream on Sunday morning, and then that live stream is available on our Facebook page. And if you want to check that out before you visit us in person, that's cool too. So you all have a great week, and we'll see you around soon.
All right. And again, thanks to New Life Community Church in Wellman for sponsoring. Aaron, we'll see you in a week here for some more real talk on Steve Shetler Media.